Nothing great is accumulated by accident. Championships are not won by chance. They come at a cost, paid in sacrifice, in moments of doubt, in a willingness to step deeper into discomfort than anyone else.
Yo guys, welcome back to MMA Nights. The latest talk of the MMA town is that Diego Lopes is grinding hard to get a win over Alexander Volkanovski at UFC 314.
You have to put yourself in the fire. You have to welcome the struggle, lean into the chaos, and push your body and mind to places that most would never dare to go.
The stakes couldn't be higher. The vacant title is up for grabs, and both fighters have their eyes set on glory. Volkanovski, once the reigning king of the featherweight division, is desperate to reclaim what he believes is rightfully his after a recent fall from grace. On the other hand, Lopes is looking to upset the champ's return and claim his own spot at the top. Lopes has been on an impressive win streak, having won 5 consecutive bouts since a loss in his UFC debut. He's now on the verge of the most significant opportunity of his career, and he's leaving no stone unturned in his preparations for Volkanovski. In a twist of fate, Lopes' training partner, Austin Bashi, has been key in helping him replicate Volkanovski's fighting style. Bashi, who shares similar physical attributes with the former champion, has been studying Volkanovski's every move. With the same height and reach, Bashi feels he can provide the closest possible sparring looks for Lopes, which could prove to be a game changer in the fight.
Yeah, Diego is going really good in this fight. So we have Austin with us, and he's doing a mimic so great that we see all the scenarios, and Diego is winning everybody, anything. So I'm really happy. The team is happy, and we're gonna have a new.
To understand why this matchup is generating so much buzz, it's important to recognize Volkanovski's standing in the featherweight division. After his reign as champion, Volkanovski lost his title to Ilia Topuria at UFC 298. But that short-notice fight against Islam Makhachev at UFC 294, many believe really started his downfall. Now, after a period of recovery, the Australian is aiming to get back on top. However, his opponents see vulnerabilities, especially Lopes, who's earned his shot by dominating Brian Ortega in his last outing. Despite being an underdog to some, Lopes is brimming with confidence, ready to challenge Volkanovski's place in the featherweight hierarchy. Lopes has made it clear that he's not intimidated by Volkanovski, claiming that he's prepared to face the best version of the former champ. There's a sense of defiance in Lopes' words, especially as Volkanovski has been quite vocal in his criticism of the Brazilian fighter's abilities. For instance, Volkanovski recently commented that Lopes' aspirations to snatch the belt from him were futile. But Lopes isn't worried by the noise. In fact, he's focused on proving his doubters wrong. Lopes' journey to this point has been far from ordinary. A native of Manaus, Brazil, he began his career in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where he crafted his skills before moving to Mexico at the age of 19 to train at Lobo Gym. There, he trained alongside some of the sport's best, including Alexa Grasso. What many don't know is that before pursuing MMA, Lopes made a heartfelt promise to his family. He would go to Mexico to train and not return until he could provide them with a better life. It's a vow that has shaped his career and motivated him through some of the toughest moments of his life.
Sempre foi sonho do meu pai, né? Desde muito jovem, ele não pôde realizar esse sonho para ele, mas realizou para o filho, né? Então, a gente se sente orgulhoso, grato por tudo que aconteceu, né, na vida do Diego.
But as inspiring as Lopes' story is, he faces an uphill battle against Volkanovski, whose fight IQ, striking, and well-rounded game have earned him a reputation as one of the toughest champions in UFC history. For his part, Volkanovski is determined to prove that his time atop the division wasn't a fluke. While some may argue that his recent loss to Topuria was a setback, the Australian is still widely regarded as one of the most dangerous fighters in the featherweight division. But the questions surrounding his return remain. Is Volkanovski's best still ahead of him? Or has the wear and tear of a long reign finally caught up with him?
Obviously, you're looking forward to it, but talk to me about this matchup with Diego.
Well, I think, yeah, definitely a great matchup. Fun matchup as well. So it's a fight where, even though it's not Ilya, a rematch with Ilya would have been, that's what I wanted mostly, right? I wanted to fight Ilya for the belt, get the rematch. Next best thing is for the vacant belt against Diego. At least he's a dangerous fighter, exciting fighter. People are going to want to tune in because, there's a bit of hype around him. Stylistically, I think it's a great matchup for me. Obviously, he's dangerous. He's definitely going to have a puncher's chance. He's got that submission threat. I've proved to many times that I'm gonna be all right in when it comes to grappling. But I'm sure he's thinking different. He's going to think he's going to show me something that I haven't seen, and I'm okay with that.
There's certainly no shortage of opinions on the fight. Aljamain Sterling isn't sold on Lopes' chances, especially as the fight drags into the championship rounds. Sterling believes that Lopes could pose a threat early with his aggressive, fast-paced style, but once the fight enters deeper waters, Volkanovski will take over. Sterling's take is clear. If Lopes doesn't land a bomb in the first few rounds, he's likely to be worn down and picked apart by Volkanovski's experience and skill. Sterling's view, while harsh, is grounded in the fact that Volkanovski's game has always been a relentless one, whether it's his striking, his grappling, or his ability to manage the tempo of a fight.
Volkanovski is coming with a vengeance. He is in phenomenal shape. What he does great versus what Diego Lopes does great is not the same. Volk is super well-rounded. He's strong in every single department. Maybe not a submission specialist, but he's very hip to the grappling game, where Diego Lopes is a very good grappler in terms of submission threats. But when it comes to striking, he is an all-or-nothing guy in the first round. There's no pacing for Diego Lopes.
Then there's Movsar Evloev, a fighter who's been lurking just below the title picture and is eager for his own shot. Although he respects Volkanovski's ability, Evloev isn't exactly worried about the former champ reclaiming the title. Instead, he thinks even a 50% Volkanovski would still have enough to defeat Lopes. Evloev's not here for the flash, though. He's been quietly climbing the rankings with solid, unassuming performances, while fighters like Lopes seem to be getting the spotlight for their knockout finishes. Evloev has every reason to feel frustrated. After all, he's beaten Lopes in the past and feels his technical approach should have earned him a title shot long before now.
If he fights like he was in his prime.
If he have even 50% of his prime shape, he can beat this guy easy. So, and I'll be next for him, and we'll see.
Well, that was my next question, because on Ariel Helwani this week, Volkanovski said he'll fight you again in 3 months. So you think that's the plan? You think he beats Diego and then you're next for the title against Volkanovski?
Yeah, if everything depends on him. We'll see what UFC will say about me or about his next opponent, but I'm ready.
As for Volkanovski's return to the octagon, the redemption narrative is strong. Many fans see UFC 314 as his chance to reassert his dominance. Robert Whittaker, who knows Volkanovski well, has expressed confidence in his ability to handle Lopes, despite the Australian's age and recent losses. Whittaker acknowledges that time off could be a factor, but he still believes that Volkanovski's sheer skill will be enough to handle Lopes. Whittaker's perspective is pragmatic. While Volkanovski might not be the same fighter he was in his prime, he's still a force to be reckoned with.
Diego Lopes is so dangerous right now. He's riding so much momentum, and he's in a really dangerous position. And Volk, we don't know what Volk we're going to see.
I know.
He's had a lot of time off since he lost the belt.
Yeah.
And he is aging. What is he now?
36, turning 37 later this year. After the fight,
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Because taking all that away, I got Volk all day.
On the flip side, Chael Sonnen has a more ambiguous take. Sonnen sees this fight as one full of intrigue. He's a fan of Lopes, recognizing that the Brazilian is on a solid win streak, and he believes this is a chance for him to shock the world. However, Sonnen also sees the reality. If Lopes doesn't make a statement early, Volkanovski will likely grind him down over the course of the fight. According to Sonnen, Lopes' path to victory is clear. He needs to come out with everything he has in the first few rounds. If he can't land something significant, the tide will likely turn in Volkanovski's favor as the fight progresses.
This is a very, very interesting fight, and it's very much the right fight. We'll get to a breakdown later. I haven't even spoke to my partners at DraftKings. I don't even know who they're putting as the favorite right now. I would predict for you that it's going to be Lopes, but I will also share for you, if it's going to be Lopes, he better get his ass out of there in the first 15 minutes. You do not want to go to championship rounds with Volkanovski, no matter what kind of a run you are, no matter how young you are, how good you are. Don't see Volkanovski in the 4th and 5th round if you still got business to do.
Kenny Florian has echoed some of the same concerns. Florian notes that Volkanovski's grappling defense is solid, which could be a problem for Lopes if he tries to take the fight to the ground. However, it's Lopes striking that presents the real challenge. With his whirlwind aggression, Lopes can overwhelm an opponent early. But as Florian sees it, if Volkanovski survives the initial onslaught, he'll take control and win the fight in a decision.
Extremely hard fight to handicap. You know, a lot of it is because what Volkanovski's going to show up. Is he going to go, well, okay, I need to protect my chin. Let me play it conservatively here and try to outpoint him and be the strategist that he is. But then you have Diego Lopes, he's going to be a fireball. He's going to go out there and he's going to try to find that chin of Volkanovski early and often until that final bell, because that's kind of the way he fights. I think that Volkanovski can handle Lopes on the ground. I do believe that.
So, as the countdown to UFC 314 begins, the intrigue surrounding this featherweight showdown continues to grow. Will Lopes' blitzing aggression be enough to dethrone the former champ? Or will Volkanovski's experience, versatility, and championship heart prove to be too much for the hungry challenger? What do you think? Do let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and leave a like for more MMA content like this.